He thought he was heading home, but one glitch turned him into an alien collector's prize. Trapped, watched, desired. But Cale Sterling isn't just some exotic display. He's humanity's last spark in a galaxy on the edge. Stay until the end. This isn't just survival. It's a war for identity. The landing ramp of the Starship Nebula's Grace groaned as it lowered, venting a plume of silvery mist into the alien air. Cale Sterling gripped a small metallic keepsake box, its surface etched with a faint constellation pattern, a gift from his mother, meant for his uncle back on Earth. A handwritten note was tucked inside. "To my star-chasing son, come home soon. Uncle's waiting with coffee and stories." Cale adjusted his faded flight jacket, the leather creaking softly, and stepped forward, expecting the familiar bustle of Earth's Orion port. Maybe his uncle's grizzled grin, holding a thermos of the terrible instant coffee he loved. A smirk tugged at Kyle's lips as he pictured it. But when the mist parted, his boots froze mid-step. "What in the void?" he muttered, squinting into the distance. Instead of steel towers and landing pads, a horizon of jagged, coral-like spires glowed faintly orange under a sky streaked with violet waves. Like liquid light dancing across the heavens, it wasn't Earth, it wasn't even close. A cluster of beings, tall, insectoid, with shimmering green carapaces and twitching mandibles, gathered at the ramp's base, their clicks echoing like a broken radio. Kyle's grip tightened on the box. "Uncle," he whispered, half joking. "Did you move planets without telling me?" One of the creatures scuttled forward, its mandibles vibrating. "Welcome to Vorin 9, prime haven of the Outer Veil." Its voice buzzed through a translator disc embedded in its chest. Cale stumbled back, nearly tripping over a crate. No, this is a mistake. I'm headed to Earth. You know, third rock from Sol? Milky Way?" The creature's faceted eyes gleamed. "Earth? Bay 32. This is Bay 23. Cale fumbled for his holo ticket, heart sinking as the display flickered. Bay 23, Vorin 9. A glitch, or something worse, had swapped the digits. "This can't be real," he said, spinning toward the ship, but the ramp was already retracting, engines humming to life. "Wait!" he waved frantically. "I'm on the wrong damn planet!" His comm buzzed with a pre-recorded message. "Transport. Fee processed. Enjoy your stay, guest 472 exotic class." "Exotic?" Kyle's voice cracked. "I'm a human, not a zoo exhibit." The insectoids chittered louder, and a crowd began to form. Slender humanoid figures with pearlescent skin that shifted from ivory to gold under the strange light. Their eyes, impossibly large and glowing amber, fixed on him. "Such fluid motion," one gasped, her voice like a chime. Another, clutching a translucent tablet, whispered, "The vocal range. It's so raw." A third clapped delicate hands. "It's reacting. Look, it's aware." Kyle dragged a hand through his dark curls. "I'm not an it. I'm Cale Sterling, and I need a comms station now." Across the shimmering city, in the opulent tower of Lyris, Lady Vera Thalran reclined on a floating chaise, her golden skin catching the glow of crystal vines curling along the wall. Her hair, woven with threads of liquid starlight, spilled over one shoulder as she scrolled through a hollow catalogue of rare acquisition. "Predictable," she sighed, dismissing images of gem-scaled serpents and bioluminescent birds. Her attendant, a wiry figure named Silas, stood rigid nearby. "The imports lack spirit, my lady," he offered. Vera's amber eyes narrowed. "I want something untamed, something that feels." As if answering her, the catalogue flickered, revealing a new entry: Exotic 472, Earth origin, vocal, emotionally volatile. Guaranteed to disrupt. Vera leaned forward, enlarging the image. A human male, sharp-jawed, eyes blazing with defiance. "A real human," she murmured, tracing the hologram. "They're myths since the trade ban." Silas nodded. "A premium find, my lady." Vera's lips curved. "Acquire it immediately." Back at the port, Kyle jabbed at what he hoped was a public terminal, its interface a maze of glowing runes. Earth emergency line. This is Kyle Sterling, stranded on Vorin 9. I need evac. Pronto. The screen pulsed, then spat out, unrecognized. Entity, access denied. He slammed a fist against it, drawing gasps from the growing crowd. It's so spirited, a pearlescent onlooker cooed, recording him. Before he could snap back, something cold landed on his scalp, a tiny disc, humming faintly. A cheerful voice chimed, "Collection beacon activated. Prepare for transport." Kyle's hand shot up, fingers brushing the device. What the... The ground vanished. He plummeted through a tunnel of blinding light, stomach flipping, the keepsake box still clutched tight. With a jolt, he crashed onto something soft and warm, like a living mattress that pulsed faintly beneath him. Groaning, he pushed himself up, blinking into the face of a woman, or something like one. Her skin shimmered gold, her hair a cascade of starlight, and her amber eyes seemed to burn straight through him. She wore a gossamer gown, open at the front, revealing curves that made his brain short-circuit. "You," she said, leaning closer, "are even more striking than the hologram." Kyle scrambled to his feet, backing away. "Who are you? And why are you staring at me like I'm a prize at a fair?" Her laugh was like wind chimes in a storm. "I'm Vera, and you're mine. Now my curious find." She extended a hand, fingers long and graceful. Kyle pressed himself against a wall of glowing crystal. "Look, there's been a mix-up. I'm supposed to be on Earth, drinking bad coffee with my uncle, not playing pet for whoever you are." Vera's head tilted, her glow intensifying. "You speak so clearly for an exotic." The catalog mentioned vocalization, but this, it's almost convincing. Kale threw up his hands. "Because I'm not an exotic. I'm a human from Earth, with a job and a family and rights, damn it." Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. "It's like you believe your own words." Kale sidestepped her, aiming for what looked like an exit, but the panel slid open to reveal a cavernous chamber. Pools of liquid starlight, walls that shimmered like breathing opal, and a scent like ozone and flowers. "Where do you think you're going?" Vera asked, amusement lacing her voice as she followed. "Stop calling me your anything," Kyle snapped. "My name's Kale." She tested the word, her lips curling. Kale. Intriguing. "I'll call. UK for simplicity." He shot her a look. "Call me whatever, just get me to an Earth embassy." Vera's smile wavered. "Earth has no presence on Vorin 9. We're selective." Kale's stomach sank. "Great. So I'm stuck here as your what? Trophy?" Before she could answer, a chime rang out. Vera touched a wall panel, and a hologram flickered to life. A golden-skinned woman with intricate facial tattoos. "Sister," the figure exclaimed, "your new treasure has arrived." Vera glanced at Kale, her smile possessive. "Indeed, Myra. He's more vocal than expected." Myra's eyes widened. "Oh, it speaks directly. How bold." Kyle stepped toward the hologram, fists clenched. "I'm not an it, and you? Did you reroute my flight?" Myra laughed, ignoring him. "Vera, you wanted unique. I found you a human, worth every credit." Vera circled Kyle, her gown brushing his arm. "Let's explore his capabilities." The listing mentioned emotional triggers. "I'm right." "Here," Kyle growled, dodging her touch. Vera paused, then stepped closer, her fingers grazing his jaw. "You're quite captivating for a human," she murmured, her breath warm. Kale's pulse spiked, a mix of anger and something he didn't want to name. Her touch felt like static, sharp and alive. "Stop that," he said, backing into a crystal that hummed under his weight. Myra's hologram chimed in. "Defensive response noted. Try curiosity next." Vera's eyes locked onto his. "What happens if I—" She leaned in, her hair brushing his shoulder, and Kale felt that static surge again, stronger, like a current pulling him under. "How many humans have you snatched?" he demanded, voice low. Myra waved dismissively. "Only the finest. Earth's off limits since the 2381 treaty, but we have arrangements." Kyle's fist hit the wall, pain flaring. I wasn't arranged. I was born, raised, and accidentally shipped here. Vera studied him, intrigued. He's so insistent. She pressed another panel, revealing a tray of food, shimmering cubes, writhing noodles, a drink that pulsed blue. "Eat," she said, pointing. Kyle sniffed a cube and gagged. "Smells like burnt circuits." He nibbled one, then spat it out, coughing. "Tastes like someone blended a shoe with syrup." Vera's brow furrowed. "The manual says humans need fuel." Kyle wiped his mouth. "Fuel, not poison. Get me something edible. Or better, get me home." A sharp chime interrupted. Vera activated the panel, revealing a stern figure in a silver uniform, antennae quivering. "Lady Vera, I'm Overseer Tarin, Exotic Compliance Division. We've detected an unregistered acquisition. I'll inspect it now." Vera's calm cracked. "Of course, Overseer." Kale straightened. "Good. Maybe you'll listen." Vera grabbed his arm, her grip tight. "Behave, Kay. If Taran finds you non-compliant, they'll repurpose you." Kale's throat tightened. "Repurpose? As in parts," Vera said flatly. "Exotics are valuable, even disassembled." Taran swept in, scanning Kyle with a device that hummed ominously. "Remarkable specimen," they noted, circling him. "Earth humans are scarce post-ban. How did you acquire it?" Vera hesitated. "My sister's contacts." Kyle cut in. "I'm not an it. I'm Cale Sterling, and I was misrouted here." Taran's antennae flicked. "It mimics sentience." Convincingly, Kyle's voice rose. "I am sentient. I have rights." Taran turned to Vera, suspicious. "This may be a sapient class entity. That requires special clearance, bonding protocols, higher taxes." Vera paled. "I wasn't informed." Taran raised a claw-like hand. "If undocumented, it must be seized for assessment." Kale's mind raced. Seizure sounded worse than staying with Vera, who at least hadn't dissected him yet. As Taran aimed the scanner at his head, Vera began to protest, her voice shaking. Kyle acted on instinct, grabbing her shoulders and pulling her into a kiss. Hard, desperate, a gamble. To prove he was more than a thing. The room froze. Taran's device clattered. Vera stiffened, then melted slightly, her eyes wide as she pulled back. Alarms screamed, crimson lights flashing. A robotic voice blared, "Exotic Initiates Owner Contact. Critical biolink detected. Containment required." Taran recovered, backing away. "This is unheard of. An exotic engaging its owner breaches all protocols." Kyle's chest heaved. "I'm not her exotic." Vera touched her lips, dazed. "What was that?" Guards poured in, their pearlescent skin gleaming under the pulsing lights. Weapons trained on Kale. "He's volatile," Taran snapped. "Isolate him for analysis." Vera stepped forward. "He's not a threat. He's unique." The lead guard, a towering figure with claw-like tattoos, barked, "Silence, exotic. You'll be processed." Vera's voice hardened. "As his owner, I'll oversee this." Taran nodded grudgingly. With full security, Kyle was marched through glowing corridors, Vera and Taran trailing behind. Onlookers gawked, snapping images with their tablets. "Going viral on Alien Net," Kale muttered. Vera glanced at him. "What's viral?" "Fame, but weirder. Like your tablets, minus the kidnapping." A guard jabbed him. "No speaking." They entered a sterile facility. Part lab, part prison. Transparent cells held creatures pacing or floating in tanks. An official, Director Liss, approached. "Lady Vera, we'll evaluate the violation. Exotic initiated contact, section 19.4. Breach." Kale interjected, "My name's Kale, and I'm a human who took the wrong ship." Liss ignored him, addressing Vera. "We'll process it. You may observe." The next hours were a nightmare. Scans, probes, samples taken as if he were a lab rat. Liss compiled a file, projecting it. Species, human, Earth origin. Behavior, defiant. Traits, resists classification. Threat, moderate. Owner, Vera Thalren. Kyle yanked at the wristband they'd clamped on him. "I'm not property." Liz noted. Advanced vocal mimicry. Vera spoke up, hesitant. Could humans be sapient? Liz sighed. Possible, but admitting it would unravel our trade laws, tariffs, everything. Kyle scoffed. So I'm a pet because it's easier. Liz nodded, unironic. Precisely. Back in Vera's tower, the air felt heavier. Guards lingered. Monitors blinked discreetly. Nice prison, Kyle said bitterly. It's not. Vera began dismissing the guards. Alone, her composure faltered. I didn't know you were aware when I bought you. Kyle crossed his arms. You didn't question owning a thinking being? She paced, hair shimmering. We're taught humans are constructs, built for novelty. Kyle snorted. Built? We've got history, art, wars? Same as you. Vera stopped, eyes searching. That kiss, it changed something in me. Kale softened just a fraction. Yeah, well, being stolen messes with my head too. Days passed in uneasy alliance. Vera sourced human-safe food, odd but edible, and gave him access to Vorin's archives. One night under the violet sky, she pointed to a cushion. Sit, Kyle smirked. I'm not a pet. Her lips twitched. I know. Your eyes say rebel. He laughed, caught off guard. You trying to tame me or flirt? Her glow flared. Maybe both. Is it working? He grabbed a fruit from a nearby bowl, biting into it slowly, letting the juice drip, holding her gaze. Just eating, he said, voice low. Vera flushed deeper gold, frozen. That's educational. Her laugh broke the tension, bright and unguarded, and for a moment she was just Vera, not his captor. She invited him to a festival in the Crystal Vale, not as a pet, but a guest. The veil dazzled, plants that sang, stones that floated, air thick with light. Vorin's elite stared, whispering about Vera's exotic companion. A counselor, Drace, sneered. Bold, parading your acquisition. Vera's chin lifted. Kyle enjoys beauty. Why deny him? Drace's eyes narrowed. You elevated? Him, Vera corrected sharp. Kyle nodded thanks, warmth flickering in his chest. By a glowing stream, Kyle touched Vera's arm to point out a fish that danced in spirals. The crowd gasped. Someone dropped a chalice. Vera's skin darkened. Touching. It's intimate. Here, like a vow. Kale's hand froze. Oops. She held his fingers, defiant. Let them stare. By dawn, their moment trended across Vorin's networks. Human touch, star rebel. Vera showed him the feeds. You've sparked chaos, she said, half laughing. Kyle scrolled, stunned. Kids want human friends now? Vera nodded. You've shaken centuries of rule. Then Vera clutched her side, wincing. It's nothing, she gasped, grabbing a vial of glowing liquid, hands shaking. Kyle took it, their fingers brushing. She shivered, eyes dilating. Your touch. It's amplifying my cycle. Kyle stepped closer. Cycle? Mating phase, she whispered. Suppressants usually work, but you... She lunged, pinning him to the wall, eyes nearly black. They're failing. The air hummed, reality bending as pink light spilled from her. Their kiss wasn't planned. It was gravity, electric, pulling them together. Time dissolved. Later, in a floating field, Vera traced his arm. We synchronized. Impossible for a human, Kyle grinned. I'm full of surprises. Her face grew serious. Kale, you weren't an accident. Myra targeted you. Cold dread hit him. Why me? Before she answered, guards stormed in, led by a counselor in black armor. Lady Vera, your exotic is detained for biotampering and lineage corruption. Vera leapt up. On what grounds? He's altered your cycle, threatening our bloodline, the counselor said. Kyle stood, mind racing. Wait, he declared, voice steady. I've been playing you all. I'm Agent Kale Sterling, Galactic Enforcer, here to expose your trafficking. The guards paused, uncertain. Kale locked eyes with Vera, urging her to play along. I've got evidence to lock this planet down, he continued. But Vera, she's seen the truth. I might go easy on her. The counselor sneered, deluded exotic. But the cuffs snapped on. As they dragged him away, Kyle called, My uncle's gonna love this story. Deep below the city, In a lab of cold light and humming machines, Kyle stood on a platform, cuffed, facing a crowd. High Minister Vex addressed them. "This exotic has contaminated our lineage. We'll extract its data, then neutralize it." Murmurs rose, tablets glowed. Recording, as guards moved him toward a chamber, a figure vaulted onto the platform. Vera, eyes blazing. "Stop this!" she shouted. "Kyle Sterling is no object. He's equal to us." The crowd roared, some cheering, others raging. Vex snarled, "Your judgment's compromised." Guards grabbed Vera, but the sky darkened. Ships, massive, appeared above, bearing a crest Kale knew. The Stellar Vanguard. A light beam delivered a woman, small, fierce grey hair in a bun, medals gleaming. "Aunt Mara," Kyle grinned. "Kyle, you idiot," she snapped. "I send you to deliver a gift and you spark a crisis." She faced Vex. "I'm General Mara Sterling, Vanguard Command. Vorin 9's under investigation for sapient trafficking." Vex blustered. "Our sovereignty violates 12409 galactic codes," Mara cut in, her wrist device chiming. Guards lowered weapons as Vanguard agents appeared. Kale's cuffs fell. "Thanks, Aunt. You owe me," she muttered, eyeing Vera. "This her?" Kale nodded. "She saved me." Vera met Mara's gaze. "I was wrong. I'll face the consequences." Mara's eyes softened. "We'll need allies to fix this mess." Months later, Vorin 9 hummed with change. The Vanguard had banned exotic trades, replacing them with exchange programs. Kyle and Vera, now partners in reform, walked the veil, hands entwined, ignoring, snapping tablets. "We're famous," Kyle laughed, showing a holo trailer, the Earth Rogue and the Star Lady. Their story spun into epic romance. Vera groaned. "They made me backflip." Kale kissed her forehead, pink sparks flaring. "Still disrupting, huh?" She smiled, leaning into him, as the violet sky swirled above. Endless, alive. Pulling the Kale Sterling leaned against the railing of the Crystal Vale's highest terrace, the violet sky of Vorin 9 swirling above like a living painting. Beside him, Vera Thalran traced the edge of her holo-tablet, its screen flickering with updates from the newly formed Sapient Rights Council. The air hummed with the faint pulse of the city below, freer now, but still restless, as if Vorin itself sensed the changes rippling through its core. Kale's flight jacket hung loose over his shoulders, the leather scuffed from months of navigating this alien world. He nudged Vera's arm, his keepsake box, still holding his mother's note, tucked safely in his pocket. "You ever think we'd be here, rewriting a planet's laws instead of, say, me sipping bad coffee back home?" Vera's amber eyes caught the light, her golden skin shimmering faintly. "I thought I'd be collecting curiosities, not sparking revolutions." Her lips curved, but a shadow crossed her face. "Kale, there's more I haven't told you about how you ended up here." Her voice dropped, barely audible over the distant hum of hovercrafts. Kyle straightened, his easy grin fading. "More? You already said Myra didn't pick me at random. What's the rest?" Before she could answer, a sharp chime cut through the air, her tablet flashing red with an urgent alert. "Council breach," she whispered, scanning the message. "Someone's accessed restricted files. About you." The terrace felt colder now, the violet streaks above twisting faster, as if mirroring Kyle's pulse. He grabbed the tablet, his human fingers clumsy on its sleek interface, but the text was clear. Subject 472. Earth origin. Classified data leak. Origin trace initiated. Origin trace, he muttered, handing it back. "Vyra, what's this about?" Her glow dimmed, her hands trembling as she shut the device down. "It's not just Myra's doing. There's a network, deep, hidden. They've been tracking humans like you for years, longer than I knew." Kale's jaw tightened. "Tracking? For what? More pets?" She shook her head, stepping closer, her voice urgent. "Not pets. Something bigger. I only caught fragments, But it's tied to Vorin's oldest archives. Experiments, maybe. I swear I didn't know until after we synchronized. That word, synchronized, hung between them, a reminder of the electric bond that had fused their fates, sparking pink light and rewriting their worlds. Kyle ran a hand through his curls, his mind racing. So I'm not just a glitch in your catalog. Someone wanted me here. Specifically, why? Vera's eyes darted to the terrace edge, where crystal vines pulsed faintly, as if listening. We need to move. If they're tracing you, they'll come for us both. Kyle nodded, instinct kicking in. Where to? She grabbed his hand, her touch sending a familiar static jolt through him. The undervaults. If there's answers, they're there. They slipped through the veil's glowing pathways, dodging clusters of Vorinites, snapping images with their tablets. The Dree human touch movement had made them icons, but fame was a double-edged blade. Every eye on them could be a spy's. Kyle kept pace with Vera's fluid strides, her gossamer cloak blending with the city's shimmer. They descended into a transit hub, boarding a sleek pod that plunged beneath the surface. The pod's walls glowed softly, reflecting Vera's tense expression. The undervaults are forbidden, she said, her voice low. Old labs sealed since the first Accord. Myra mentioned them once, said they held Vorin's true history. Kyle leaned back, the keepsake box pressing against his thigh. Sounds like a place for secrets. You sure we can trust this lead? Her eyes met his, steady despite her fear. I trust you, that's enough. The pod slowed, opening into a cavern of black crystal, its walls carved with runes that pulsed, faintly blue. The air was thick, heavy with the scent of ancient machinery. Kyle's boots echoed as they stepped out, Vera's glow the only light in the dimness. Creepy, he muttered, scanning the shadows. My uncle'd love this. Perfect for his ghost stories. Vera's lips twitched, but her focus stayed sharp, leading him to a massive door etched with a spiral constellation. She pressed her palm against it, and the runes flared, scanning her. A low hum vibrated the floor, and the door slid open, revealing a chamber lined with translucent tanks, each holding shapes that shimmered, half-formed, like ghosts in liquid. Kyle's stomach twisted. What is this place? Vira moved to a central console, its hollow display flickering to life. A Genesis lab, Vorin's founders. They didn't just collect exotics, they engineered them. She swiped through files, images flashing, creatures with human-like limbs, eyes, voices. Kale froze on one, a face eerily close to his own, but wrong, like a distorted mirror. Vira, he said, voice tight. Tell me that's not me. She shook her head, but her glow flickered. It's not, but it's close. These are prototypes. Humans were their template, Kale. They wanted something, someone adaptable, emotional, to bridge their biology with ours. He stepped back, the keepsake box suddenly heavy. Bridge, like a hybrid. Vira nodded, pulling up another file. A map of human DNA marked with Vorin symbols. Your synchronization with me. It wasn't random. Someone knew you'd trigger. It knew you carried something. Kyle's laugh was bitter. Great, I'm a lab rat with a destiny. Before she could respond, the chamber shook, dust raining from the ceiling. Kale's fingers tightened around the keepsake box, his mother's note inside feeling like a lifeline to a world that made sense. A world before Vorin, before Nexus, before he was a pawn in some cosmic experiment. He glanced at Vera, her glow steady despite the truth crashing around them, and for a second he wondered what he'd leave behind if this all went wrong. Hey, you, out there in the galaxy? Yeah, I'm talking to you, watching this crazy ride unfold. That keepsake box Kale's holding. It's got a note from his mom, a piece of earth tying him to who he is. It's got us thinking. What's something you'd carry to remind you of home, no matter how far you roam? Drop it in the comments below. We're dying to hear your stories, and it might just spark some interstellar inspiration. Oh, and if you're loving Kale and Vera's fight against the odds, hit that like button to send some cosmic vibes our way. It really helps the channel grow. Not subscribed yet? Join the crew now so you don't miss what's coming next in this wild universe. All right, back to the undervaults. Things are about to get intense. Kale shook his head, shoving the box back in his pocket. The chamber's hum grew louder, a warning in the dark. Alarms blared, and a voice, cold, synthetic, echoed. Intruders detected. Containment protocol engaged. Vera grabbed his arm. We need to run. They sprinted through twisting tunnels, the walls closing in as drones hummed behind them, their red lights slicing the dark. Kale's heart pounded, but he kept Vera's hand in his, her static grounding him. They ducked into a side chamber, a forgotten archive stacked with crystal drives. Vera sealed the door, her breath ragged. We're trapped, but we're close. There's a master file. Myra hinted at it. It's why they're after you. Kale scanned the drives, their surfaces warm under his touch. If I'm some experiment, why not just grab another human? Vera's eyes softened, pained. Because it's you, Kale. Your spark, your defiance. It's what they can't replicate. He picked a drive at random, its data streaming across his borrowed HoloLens. Project Nexus, Subject 472, Sterling lineage, bio key for Phase 2. Sterling, he whispered. They knew my family? Vera nodded, urgent. Your bloodline. It's unique, tied to Earth's oldest strains. They've been watching you since... The door exploded inward, drones flooding the room, followed by a figure in black armor. Myra, her tattoos glowing with malice. You're persistent, sister, she sneered, ignoring Kale. But he's not yours to keep. Vera stepped forward, defiant. He's no one's to claim. Kyle gripped the drive, slipping it into his jacket. Myra, why me? What's Phase 2? Her laugh was sharp. You're the key human. Vorin's dying. Our biology's failing. Your kind can save us or break us. She raised a weapon, its barrel humming. Kyle shoved Vera behind him, his mind racing for a plan. The drones closed in, their lights blinding, but a low rumble shook the vault, a new ship breaking atmosphere above. Myra's eyes widened. No, they're early. Kyle grinned, reckless. Bet that's Aunt Mara. Told you my family's... Trouble. The ceiling cracked, light pouring through as Vanguard pods descended, soldiers spilling out. Mara Sterling led them, her medals glinting, her glare fixed on Myra. Stand down, or I level this city. Myra hesitated, then bolted, drones covering her retreat. Kyle clutched the drive, Vera's hand tight in his. Mara, we've got proof. Vorin's been playing God with humans. Mara's eyes narrowed, scanning the tanks. Figures. You? All right, kid. He nodded, pulling Vera close. Better with her. Vera's glow flared, pink sparks dancing. Mara snorted. Keep her. She's trouble. Like you. They surfaced to a city in chaos. Protests flaring, Vorinites chanting. For truth, a human touch, now a call for justice. Kale and Vera slipped into the crowd, the drive burning a hole in his pocket. What now? He asked, their fingers laced. Vera's eyes gleamed. We exposed them. Together, the violet sky churned, ships circling above, and Kale felt the weight of a universe shifting. Not just Vorin's, but his own. The keepsake box pressed against him, a tether to Earth, but Vera's touch was his anchor here, now, in a story still unfolding. Kale Sterling's boots crunched against the shattered crystal of the undervault's floor, the air thick with the acrid tang of scorched machinery. Vera Thalrin clung to his side, her golden glow dimmed by exhaustion but unwavering, her hand still laced with his. The data drive in Kale's jacket pocket felt heavier than it should, its secrets, project. Nexus, Sterling lineage bio key, burning like a star against his ribs. Above, the rumble of Vanguard ships shook the cavern, General Mara Sterling's forces locking down Vorin 9's capital. Myra's escape had left a void, but Kale knew she wasn't gone, just biding her time. The violet sky peeked through cracks. In the ceiling, its restless swirls mirroring the churn in his gut. "We can't stay here," he said, voice low, scanning the shadows for more drones. "That drives a beacon. They'll hunt us." Vera's amber eyes flicked to the collapsed tunnel where Myra had vanished. "She's not alone, Kale. The network, whatever's behind Project Nexus, it's bigger than Vorin. We need to find the Nexus core." Her voice trembled, not with fear, but with a fire Kale recognized. The same defiance he'd felt when he kissed her, when he'd claimed his humanity in a world that called him exotic. He squeezed her hand, a static jolt grounding him. "Core? Sounds like a trap. Where is it?" She hesitated, her glow flickering. "The Spire of Dawn, Vorin's oldest sanctuary, sealed for centuries. Myra, she used to joke it held the planet's heart. I thought it was a myth." Kale snorted, adjusting his flight jacket, the keepsake box still safe inside. "My uncle always said myths are just truths nobody's brave enough to chase. Let's prove him right." Vera's lips twitched, a ghost of a smile, but her eyes stayed sharp, scanning the vault's ruins. The tanks of half-formed creatures loomed in the dimness, their shapes too human, too wrong, haunting Kyle's peripheral vision. "Those things," he muttered, nodding at one with his jawline. "But hollow eyes. They're why I'm here, aren't they?" Vera's silence was answer enough. She tugged him toward a side passage, her steps silent despite the debris. "The spire's half a continent away. We'll need a ship, something untraceable." They slipped through the labyrinth, dodging vanguard patrols and Vorinite looters drawn by the chaos. The city above was a pressure cooker. Protests swelled, fueled by Dutcher human touch and leaks of the undervault's horrors. Kyle caught glimpses on floating holoscreens, young Vorinites waving banners, chanting his name alongside Vera's, their pearlescent faces lit with hope and rage. "We're a movement," he said, half laughing as they ducked into an alley. "Never thought I'd be a poster boy for alien rights." Vera's glow flared, her fingers tightening. "You're more than that. You're proof they're wrong about humans, about everything." Her voice softened, almost shy. "About me." Kyle paused, turning to face her in the alley's dim glow. Her starlight hair framed her face, and for a moment he saw not the lady who'd bought him, but the woman who'd risked everything, her title, her world, to stand with him. He brushed a strand from her cheek, ignoring the spark that raced through him. "You're not so bad yourself for a galaxy class troublemaker." She leaned into his touch, her glow warming, but a distant explosion snapped them back. "Later," she whispered, pulling him onward. "We've got a planet to crack open." They reached a derelict hangar at the city's edge, its walls scarred by old wars. Inside, a battered skiff sat under a tarp, its hull patched but sleek, built for speed over style. "My father's old courier," Vera said, running a hand along its flank. "He used it before the council tamed him." Kale raised an eyebrow, climbing aboard. "Rebel runs in the family, huh?" She smirked, powering up the controls. "You have no idea." The skiff hummed to life, its engines a low growl as they slipped into the night, cloaking tech masking in them from vanguard sweeps. Kyle settled beside her, the keepsake box pressing against his thigh, a tether to Earth, to his mother's note, to a life that felt galaxies away. The journey to the spire took hours, Vorin 9's landscape unfurling. Below, coral spires giving way to seas of liquid light, then vast plains where crystal grasses sang in the wind. Kyle watched Vera pilot, her focus absolute, her glow steady despite the stakes. "You ever been to the spire?" he asked, breaking the silence. She shook her head. "No one has. Not since the Accord. It's sacred or cursed, depending who you ask." Kyle leaned forward, studying the holomap. "Cursed sounds about right for a place hiding my DNA's secrets." Vera glanced at him, her eyes searching. "You're not just DNA, Kale. Whatever they planned, you're you." He grinned, leaning back. "Careful, you're getting sentimental. Next, you'll write me a poem." Her laugh was soft, unguarded, and it hit him harder than her static ever had. "Maybe I will," she said, her voice teasing but warm. Humans seem to like words. Kyle's chest tightened, a mix of fear and something deeper, something he wasn't ready to name, not with Myra's. Shadow looming and a planet ready to tear itself apart. He pulled the data drive from his pocket, its surface cool against his palm. Let's see what this says before we get poetic. He plugged it into the skiff's console, and the hollow flared, spilling files. Nexus Phase 2, Sterling Bloodline. Catalyst for biostasis reversal. Notes followed. Vorin's declining fertility, failing ecosystems, a species on the brink. Humans, adaptable and resilient, were their answer, but not as equals. As keys, Kyle's throat went dry. They want to rewrite themselves with us? Vera's glow dimmed, her hands tightening on the controls. Not rewrite. Merge. Your lineage. It's stable, ancient. They think it can stabilize ours. She paused, voice barely a whisper. That's why we synchronized. They engineered it, Kale, to test if you'd bond. He stared at her, the weight of it sinking in. So our spark, it's just their experiment? Vera's eyes met his. Fierce. No, they may have planned the trigger, but what's between us? It's ours. I feel it, Kale, beyond their codes. He wanted to believe her, but the drive's data gnawed at him. Schematics of his cells, maps of his mind, a life reduced to a formula. The spire of dawn loomed ahead, a needle of white crystal piercing the horizon, its peak lost in violet clouds. The skiff landed in a clearing of singing grass, the air alive with static. Kyle stepped out, Vera at his side, her cloak billowing. The spire's base was carved with constellations. Some matched the keepsake box in his pocket, a detail that made his skin crawl. This place knows me, he muttered, half joking. Vera touched the carvings, her glow syncing with their pulse. It knows us, she corrected, and the ground trembled, a hidden door grinding open. Inside the spire was a cathedral of light, walls of liquid crystal, floors that rippled like water, and a central chamber where a sphere hovered pulsing, with every color Kyle could name. The core, Vera breathed, stepping forward. Kyle followed, the data drive hot in his hand. He plugged it into a port, and the sphere flared, projecting a figure, a Vorinite, ancient, her skin silver, eyes like dying stars. Welcome, sterling heir, she intoned, her voice echoing in Kale's bones. You've come to fulfill Nexus. Kale's laugh was sharp. Fulfill? I'm here to shut you down. The figure's eyes narrowed. You cannot. Vorin fades. Your blood is our renewal. Vira grabbed his arm, her glow blazing. He's not your tool. The figure tilted her head. Lady Thalrin, you've bonded with him. You know the truth. His spark saves us. Kyle yanked the drive free, the projection flickering. Nobody saves anyone by stealing lives. Alarms screamed, and the chamber shook, drones pouring from hidden panels. Vera drew a blade from her cloak, sleek, glowing, and slashed one down, sparks flying. Kyle grabbed a fallen drone's core, rigging it to overload. Run! He shouted, tossing it at the swarm. They dove through a collapsing tunnel, the explosion's heat licking their backs. They emerged into dawn, the spire cracking behind them, its light spilling like blood across the plain. The skiff was gone. Myra's work, no doubt. Kyle's chest heaved, Vera's hand still in his. We're screwed, aren't we? He panted, half grinning. Her glow flared, defiant. Not yet. There's a relay station 10 miles east. We can call your aunt. He nodded, pulling her close, their sparks dancing pink in the chaos. You're insane, you know that. She kissed him, quick and fierce. Takes one to love one. The trek was grueling, singing grass, slicing their legs, suns rising to scorch the air. Kale talked to keep them moving. Stories of Earth, his mother's garden, his uncle's coffee obsession, the time he crashed a hoverbike at 16. Vera listened, her laugh rare but bright, sharing scraps of her own life, sneaking into her. Father's skiff as a child, dreaming of stars beyond Vorin's veil. You're a dreamer, Kyle said, brushing sweat from his brow. Always was, she replied, her eyes distant. Then I met you, and dreams got real. The relay station was a ruin, half buried in crystal dunes, but its comms array still hummed. Kyle hotwired it, Vera guarding the door. "Mara, you there?" he called, static crackling. Her voice broke through, sharp. "Kyle, you're alive? Half the planet's burning because of you." He grinned. "Good, we've got Nexus data. Voron's been cooking humans for a cure. Spire's down, but Myra's loose." Mara cursed. "Stay put. I'm sending a drop." Vera tensed, spotting. Shapes on the horizon, cloaked figures, Myra's agents. "No time," she said, blade ready. Kale grabbed a scavenged pulse rifle, its weight unfamiliar but solid. "Guess we fight." The skirmish was brutal. Myra's agents moved like shadows, their weapons spitting violet fire. Kale and Vera fought back to back, his shots wild, but effective, her blade a blur. Pink sparks flared when they touched, a beacon in the fray. One agent lunged at Kyle, but Vera took them down, her glow fading as blood, golden, shimmering, seeped from a gash on her arm. "Vera!" Kyle caught her, panic rising. "I'm fine," she gasped, but her eyes fluttered. He tore his jacket, binding her wound, the keepsake box tumbling free. Its lid cracked open, revealing his mother's note, and something else. A tiny chip, glowing faintly, etched with the same constellation as the spire. "What the hell?" Kyle whispered, pocketing it as Vanguard pods roared overhead, scattering Myra's agents. Mara stormed out, her grey bun tight, medals glinting. "You two attract trouble like moths," she snapped, medics rushing to Vera. Kyle clutched the chip, its pulse syncing with his heartbeat. "Mara, this was in Mom's box. It's connected." Her eyes widened just a fraction. "Later, kid. Let's get you safe." Vera stirred, her hand finding his. "Not safe," she murmured. "Not till we end this." Kale nodded, the chip's glow warm against his skin. A new mystery tying him to Voron, to her, to a fight far from over. They boarded Mara's flagship, the Iron Dawn, its halls stark but alive with purpose. Vera's wound was treated, her glow returning, but Kale couldn't shake the chip's weight. In a quiet medbay, he showed it to her, its light dancing across her face. "My family's part of this," he said, voice low. "Not just me." Vera traced the chip, her touch steadying him. "Then we find out why, together." Mara interrupted, her expression grim. "Nexus isn't just Voron's. That chip, it's old, pre-Accord. Your mother, she knew more than she told." Kyle's chest tightened. "Knew what?" Mara shook her head. "We'll trace it. But Myra's rallying off-world. This isn't over." The Iron Dawn jumped to warp. Voron 9, shrinking behind them. Kale stood with Vera at a viewport, stars streaking past, her hand in his sparking pink, the chip, the drive, his bloodline. They were pieces of a puzzle bigger than one planet, one kiss, one revolution. "You scared?" he asked, half teasing. Vera's glow flared, her smile fierce. "Only of losing you." He pulled her close, their bond a pulse against the void. Somewhere Myra waited, Nexus stirred, and Kale's past whispered truths he wasn't ready to hear. But with Vera, he'd chase them, across galaxies, through fire, into whatever storm came next. The Iron Dawn's viewport framed a kaleidoscope of stars, their streaks blurring as the ship tore through warp. Kyle Sterling stood shoulder to shoulder with Vera Thalrin, her golden glow soft against the sterile glow of the command deck. His fingers brushed hers, sparking faint pink flickers that danced like fireflies, a reminder of their synchronization, a bond neither science nor Voron's schemes could fully explain. The data drive rested in his pocket, its secrets about Project Nexus a quiet weight. But the chip from his mother's keepsake box burned hotter, its constellation etching pulsing with questions. Kale's flight jacket hung loose, scuffed from battles, but he felt sharper now, like a blade honed by Voron's chaos. "You ever wonder what's waiting out there?" he asked, nodding at the stars. "Beyond all this?" Vera's amber eyes traced the void, her starlight hair catching the deck's dim light. "Always. But now I wonder what's waiting for us." Her voice was steady, but a tremor hid beneath it, the kind Kale had learned to hear. Fear, not of death, but of truths too big to hold. He squeezed her hand, her static jolt grounding him. Whatever it is, we'll face it. You and me, troublemakers extraordinaire. Her laugh was soft, a rare sound that warmed him more than he'd admit, but the moment shattered as general. Mara Sterling's boots clanged onto the deck, her grey bun tight, medals glinting like a warning. Kyle, Vera, briefing room now. That chip you found? It stirred a hornet's nest. They followed Mara through the Iron Dawn's corridors, past crew members snapping salutes and hollow screens flickering with Vorin 9's unrest. The briefing room was stark, its walls lined with tactical displays. Mara stood at a console, her weathered hand swiping through data streams. Two Vanguard officers flanked her, Lieutenant Jace, a wiry human with a scar across his cheek, and Commander Silas, a Vorinite defector whose pearlescent skin gleamed under the lights. Kale leaned against the table, Vera at his side, her glow subdued but alert. "All right, Aunt Mara," he said, pulling the chip from his pocket, its faint glow pulsing. "What's this thing screaming about?" Mara's eyes narrowed, her voice. "All business. That chip's a relic, pre-accord, maybe older. It's coded to your family's DNA, Kyle. Sterling bloodline, specific markers. Your mother didn't just tuck it away for sentiment." She tapped the console, projecting a hollow. A star map, dotted with coordinates spanning the outer veil and beyond. One point pulsed red, a system called Cryon's Reach, uncharted by most. "This came up when we scanned it," Mara continued. "Cryon's a dead zone, or so we thought. But that chip's broadcasting a signal there, faint but active." Kyle's stomach twisted. "Broadcasting what? And why's it got my name on it?" Silas stepped forward, her antenna twitching. "It's a key, Sterling, likely to a Nexus vault, not Vorin's, but one of the originals. The Accord buried their early experiments, but Cryon was their cradle. If Nexus started there, it's where Myra's headed." Vera tensed, her glow flaring. "My sister, she knew about this?" Silas nodded. "Myra's network runs deep. She's not just a rogue noble. She's a broker for the Silent Cabal, a faction older than Vorin's Council. They've been pulling strings since the human trade began." Kyle's laugh was sharp, bitter. "So Mom's little gift box is a galactic conspiracy starter pack. Figures." Jace, the human lieutenant, smirked but stayed quiet. Mara shot Kyle, a look that could melt steel. "Your mother was Vanguard, Kale. She worked covert ops before you were born. If she hid that chip, she knew what it unlocked and what it'd cost." Kale's jaw clenched, memories of his mother flashing, her quiet smiles, her late-night stories of stars, the way she'd hug him like she was afraid he'd vanish. "She never said a word," he muttered. Vera's hand found his, her touch, a silent anchor. "Maybe she couldn't," she said softly, "but she left you the truth." Mara swiped the hollow, revealing schematics, lab designs, biochambers, human DNA woven with Vorinite strands. Nexus wasn't just about saving Vorin, she said. The Cabal wanted hybrids, beings with human resilience and Vorinite adaptability. Your synchronization with Vera, it's proof they got close. Vera's glow dimmed, her voice tight. "They used us, used him." Kyle squeezed her hand, anger simmering. "They're not done yet, are they?" Mara's nod was grim. Cryon's signal spiked an hour ago. Myra's got a head start, and if she cracks that vault before us, Nexus could go live. New hybrids, new weapons, new wars. Kyle pocketed the chip, its warmth unsettling. "Then we beat her to it. What's the plan?" Mara's eyes softened, just a flicker, before hardening again. "We jump to Cryon's Reach, scout the vault and shut it down. But it's a risk. Unmapped space, Cabal traps, maybe worse." Silas added, "The vault's likely guarded, not just by tech, but bio-sentinels, Nexus prototypes." Jace cracked his knuckles. "Sounds like my kind of party." Kyle glanced at Vera, her amber eyes fierce despite the weight of her sister's betrayal. "You in?" he asked. She nodded, her glow blazing. "To the end, Kale. The Iron Dawn." dropped from warp near Cryon's Reach, a system of shattered planets orbiting a dying star. Its red light bathed the bridge, casting long shadows as Kale and Vera suited up in Vanguard gear. Light armor for him, reinforced with hollow shields. A sleek exosuit for her, amplifying her glow's energy. Kale strapped on a pulse rifle. Its weight familiar now, and checked the chip, still pulsing. Vira adjusted her blade's sheath, her movements fluid but tense. "This place feels wrong," she said, staring at the holomap of Cryon's largest fragment, a jagged world called Shard 7. Kale nodded, his gut agreeing. "Like it's watching us." Mara led the briefing, her voice cutting through the hum of the bridge. "Shard 7's got one structure, old buried Nexus signature. We go in light, Kale, Vira, Jace, Silas, and me. Rest of the crew holds the dawn. Expect resistance." She locked eyes with Kale. "That chip's your ticket in, kid. Don't lose it." He saluted, half mocking. "Yes, ma'am. Keep the coffee warm." Vera stifled a laugh, but Mara's glare silenced them both. The drop pod launched with a lurch, plunging towards Shard 7's surface, a wasteland of black glass and twisted metal. Kale gripped Vera's hand, pink sparks flaring, grounding them as the pod shook. They landed hard, the pod's hatch hissing open to a landscape of jagged spires and glowing fissures. The air was thin, bitter with sulfur, and Kale's helmet filtered it with a faint buzz. Silas scanned the ground, her antennae twitching. Vaults a mile north, energy spikes. Something's awake. Jace hefted his rifle. "Let's not keep it waiting." They moved in formation, Mara at the lead, Kyle and Vera in the center. The chip pulsed faster now, syncing with Kale's heartbeat, guiding them to a sunken gate carved with the same constellations as his mother's box. Vera touched it, her glow sinking, and the gate rumbled, revealing a tunnel lit by veins of green light. Inside, the vault was alive, walls pulsing like flesh, air humming with static. Kyle's skin prickled, the chip burning against his chest. "This isn't a lab," he muttered. "It's a damn organism." Vera nodded, her blade drawn, its edge glowing. Nexus wasn't just tech, it's them. Shadows moved ahead, resolving into shapes, tall, humanoid, but wrong, their limbs too long, eyes like voids. Silas hissed, "Prototypes!" The fight erupted fast, the sentinels lunging with unnatural speed. Kyle fired, pulses scorching one's chest, while Vera's blade sliced another clean through, golden blood spraying. Jason Silas flanked, their shots precise, but Mara took point, her twin pistols a blur, dropping 3 in seconds. "Move," she barked, clearing a path. They reached a chamber dominated by a massive crystal, its facets reflecting distorted versions of themselves. The chip screamed now, its light spilling from Kale's pocket. He slammed it into a slot, and the crystal flared, projecting a new figure, human, female, her face achingly familiar. "Mom?" Kyle whispered, voice breaking. The figure smiled, but her eyes were cold, digital. "Kale, my son, you've activated the Nexus heart. Your blood completes it." Vera grabbed his arm, her glow frantic. "It's not her, just a shadow." The figure's voice deepened. "Complete the merge, Sterling. Save both worlds." Before Kale could react, the chamber shook, Myra's voice echoing from hidden speakers. "You're late, sister." Drones swarmed, followed by Cabal agents in black exosuits, Myra at their head, her tattoos blazing. "The vault's mine!" she snarled, aiming a disruptor at Kale. Vera lunged, blade clashing with Myra's energy whip, sparks flying. Kale yanked the chip free, the projection collapsing, but the crystal pulsed faster, cracks spreading. "It's waking something!" he shouted, dodging a drone's blast. Mara fired, covering him, but her shout was grim. "Kale, the chips!" Triggered a cascade. Vaults going critical. Jace tackled an agent, Silas hacked a drone mid-air, and Kale grabbed Vera, pulling her from Myra's reach. Pink sparks erupted, their bond aflare in the chaos. "We can't let her win." Vera gasped, blood trickling from a cut on her cheek. Kale nodded, mind racing. He shoved the chip into his rifle's core, overloading it, and hurled it at the crystal. "Everyone, down!" The explosion was blinding, the crystal shattering, its energy ripping through the chamber. Myra screamed, vanishing in the blast, but Kale knew she'd survived. Too stubborn to die. They stumbled from the collapsing vault, Shard 7 trembling beneath them. The Iron Dawn's pods swooped in, hauling them aboard as the planetoid cracked. Kale's chest heaved. Vera slumped. Against him, her glow faint but alive. Mara clapped his shoulder, her face grim but proud. "You broke their toy, kid. Good work." Kyle managed a grin, but the chip, shattered in the blast, left a void. His mother's shadow lingered, her words a riddle. "Save both worlds." "What? Now?" Vera whispered, her hand in his, sparks flickering. He kissed her forehead, the stars ahead endless. "We find the Cabal. We find Mom's truth, and we don't stop." The Iron Dawn jumped again, Cryon's reach fading, but sensors pinged a faint signal, matching the chip's frequency from a distant nebula. Kale felt Vera's pulse against his, their bond a compass in the dark. Myra was out there, Nexus wasn't dead, and his blood still carried secrets, secrets he'd chase, with Vira, through fire and void, wherever the stars led. The Iron Dawn hummed through the nebula's haze, its hull kissed by tendrils of violet and gold gas that swirled like living smoke. Kale Sterling stood on the observation deck, his reflection faint against the viewport, his flight jacket slung over one shoulder. Vera Thalrin leaned beside him, her golden glow steady now, though faint scars from Shard 7's chaos marked her skin, a slash across her cheek, a bruise on her arm. Their hands brushed, pink sparks flickering, a quiet pulse of their bond anchoring them against the unknown. The shattered chip was gone, its secrets lost in the vault's collapse, but its echo lingered in Kale's mind, his mother's digital ghost, her cryptic command to save both worlds. The new signal, faint and teasing from the nebula's heart, felt like a dare. Kale's fingers grazed the keepsake box in his pocket, his mother's note inside a tether to Earth, now tangled with questions he couldn't shake. "Think it's her out there?" he asked, voice low, half hoping Vera wouldn't answer. Her amber eyes traced the nebula's glow, her starlight hair catching its colors. "Your mother. Or Myra." She turned to him, her glow softening. "Either way, Kale, it's pulling us in. You feel it too, don't you?" He nodded, the signal's rhythm syncing with his pulse like a heartbeat from the void. "Yeah, feels like a trap, but when has that stopped us?" Her laugh was soft, edged with defiance, and it loosened the knot in his chest. But the decks... Silence broke as General Mara Sterling's voice crackled through the comm. "Kyle, Vera, bridge, now. We've got a hit on that signal and it's not friendly." They jogged through the Iron Dawn's corridors, crew members parting like water around Mara's reputation. The bridge buzzed with tension, hollow screens alive with data. Lieutenant Jace stood at a tactical station, his scar stark under the lights, while Commander Silas adjusted her antennae, her pearlescent skin reflecting the nebula's hues. Mara dominated the center, her gray bun unraveled slightly, a rare crack in her armor. She swiped a hollow, projecting a scan of the nebula's core, a structure, massive, irregular, like a city carved from obsidian, orbiting a pulsing anomaly. "That's our signal source," Mara said, her voice steel. "No Vorinite tech, no Cabal signatures, just alien. Older than anything we've charted." Kale's gut twisted. "Older than Nexus." Silas nodded, her voice tight. "Pre-accord, pre-human contact. It's a relic, but it's awake." Vera stepped closer to the hollow, her glow flaring as she studied the anomaly, a sphere of light bending space around it like a star caught in glass. "That's no relic," she whispered. "It's alive. Vorin's archives mentioned a first source. The Cabal worshipped it, thought it birthed their kind." Jace snorted, checking his rifle. "Great. Alien gods now?" Kyle shot him a grin, but his mind raced. The chip's constellations, the vault's pulse, his mother's shadow. "If Myra's here, she's not praying," he said. "She's after power." Mara's eyes met his, heavy with something unspoken. Your mother tracked this system, Kyle. Her last mission before she left the Vanguard, she logged Cryon's reach, then buried it. That chip was her failsafe. Kyle's throat tightened, the keepsake box suddenly heavy. She knew I'd end up here. Mara's nod was curt. She knew too much. Why she stayed quiet, I can't say, but we're finishing her fight. Vera's hand found his, her static a lifeline. We'll find her truth, she said, her voice fierce. Kale managed a nod, but doubt gnawed. His mother, a covert operative, hiding galactic secrets in a gift box. It felt too big, too unreal. Mara clapped her hands, snapping the room to attention. We infiltrate the structure, small team. Kyle, Vira, Jace, Silas. I'm staying to hold the dawn. Move fast, stay sharp. Something's watching. They suited up in a hangar bay. Kyle's armor humming with new mods. Stealth cloaks, kinetic dampers. Vera's exosuit glowed faintly, her blade strapped tight, its edge sharper than ever. Jace tossed Kyle a pulse grenade, smirking. Don't blow us up, hero. Silas adjusted her scanner, her antennae twitching. Energy's spiking. Whatever's in there, it knows we're coming. Kyle checked his rifle, the signal's rhythm louder now, like a drum in his chest. Vira caught his eye, her glow steady. Ready? He grinned, reckless, born for it. Their drop pod launched, spiraling through the nebula's haze, the structure looming closer, a jagged monolith, its surface crawling with faint lights like veins. The pod breached a hangar, its doors long broken, and they spilled out into silence. The air was cold, heavy with a metallic tang, and Kyle's helmet filtered it with a hiss. The walls pulsed, not crystal like Vorin's, but organic, like muscle stretched over bone. Silas's scanner beeped, her voice low, signals deeper, central chamber. But there's interference, biosigns, thousands. Jace gripped his rifle. Ambush? Vera shook her head, her blade catching the dim light. Worse, it's alive. They moved through tunnels that twisted like intestines, lights flickering. In patterns Kyle swore he recognized, constellations again from his mother's box. His skin crawled, the signal a roar now, pulling him forward. They reached a chamber vast as a cathedral, its ceiling lost in shadow. At its heart hung the anomaly, a sphere of liquid light bending reality, whispering in voices Kale felt in his bone. Below it stood a platform, and on it, Myra. Her tattoos blazed, her energy whip coiled, flanked by Cabal agents and something worse, figures like the Vault's sentinels, but larger, their eyes glowing red, limbs twitching with unnatural grace. You're persistent, sister, Myra called, her voice echoing, but you're late. Kale stepped forward, rifle raised. Late for what? Your god complex? Myra's laugh was cold. This is the source, human. It made us, and you're its key. Vera lunged, blade flashing, but a sentinel intercepted, its claw grazing her suit. Kale fired, dropping it, while Jace and Silas engaged the agents, pulses lighting the chamber. Myra cracked her whip, aiming for Kale, but Vera tackled her, their glows clashing, gold versus violet. You betrayed us, Vera hissed, pinning her. Myra sneered, twisting free. I saved us. Vorin's dying, Nexus is our rebirth. Kyle reached the platform, the sphere's light blinding, its whispers louder. Sterling, complete us. His blood felt alive, burning, and he stumbled, vision blurring with images. His mother, younger, in this chamber, her hands on the sphere, her voice a plea. Not my son. Silas shouted, Kyle, it's syncing with you. He shook it off, grabbing a console. Its interface alien but intuitive. Data streamed. Nexus's origin. A symbiotic intelligence, not Vorinite, but older, using humans to evolve, to conquer. The source wasn't a god, it was a parasite, and Kyle's DNA was its trigger. Myra broke free, whip slashing Vera's arm, golden blood spraying. Kale! Vera gasped, staggering. He dove, catching her, pink sparks flaring as their bond surged, drowning the source's pull. Stay with me, he whispered. tearing his sleeve to bind her wound. Jace covered them, his shots wild, while Silas hacked the console, her voice urgent. "It's waking fully!" The chamber shook, the source pulsing faster, cracks spreading through the walls. Myra laughed, manic. "You can't stop it. It's in you, Sterling." Cale's mind raced, his mother's warning, the chips, a pulse, Vira's touch. He pulled her close, their sparks a shield, and shouted, "Silas, overload it!" She nodded, rerouting power, but a sentinel grabbed her, claws piercing her suit. Jace roared, tackling it, giving her seconds to finish. The console screamed, energy spiking, and Kyle dragged Vera back, Jace and Silas following. Myra lunged for the sphere, her glow merging with its light, her scream echoing as the chamber collapsed. They sprinted through crumbling tunnels, the source's wail deafening like a dying star. The Iron Dawn's pod met them at the hangar, Mara's voice barking through comms. "Move! Now!" They piled in, the structure imploding behind them, its light swallowed by the nebula. Kale held Vera, her glow faint, her breath shallow. "You're okay," he murmured, more plea than truth. Jace patched Silas's wounds, his hand steady despite the chaos. The pod docked, medics swarming, and Mara met them, her face grim. "You killed it?" Kyle shook his head. "Maybe, Myra, she merged with it, felt like she planned it." Mara's eyes darkened. "Then we've got bigger problems." In the medbay, Vera stirred, her glow returning, her hand finding Kyle's. "Did we win?" she whispered. He grinned, brushing her cheek, sparks dancing. "We're alive, that's a start." But the source's whispers lingered, fragments, in his blood, and Mara's scans confirmed it. The signal hadn't died, just shifted to him. His DNA was changing, Nexus's echo alive inside. "Your mother tried to stop this," Mara said later, her voice soft. "She hid you, Kyle, but they found you anyway." He nodded, the keepsake box open now, his mother's note creased. "Come, home soon." "I'm not hiding," he said, Vera's glow warm beside him. "We fight." The Iron Dawn charted a new course, chasing the signal's new frequency deeper into uncharted space. Kyle stood with Vera, their bond a flare against the dark, his blood a map to truths he'd unravel. With her, through stars into whatever waited. From Vorin's spires to Cryon's ruins, Kale and Vira's journey rewrote the stars. What other worlds hold such secrets? If you're drawn to tales of humans facing alien legacies, another story's out there, one where a drifter finds a signal that could change everything. It's just a click away, ready to ignite your imagination.